All right. Hello, and we are live. My name is Jasmine. Um, if you're a new watcher of my channel, welcome. I'm a witchy content creator here on YouTube and several other platforms as well. I'm really excited to introduce tonight my very special guest over this way. Oh no, you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you.
I got it. Sorry. Hi, I'm Anka. On Twitch, I'm Bianca TV. I stream games throughout the week on Twitch, but on Fridays, I do Friday Night Tarot. And not only am I a close personal friend of Jasmine's over here, but I'm also the editor of her books, plural.
Yes. And we're very blessed, very, very blessed to have you on tonight. And tonight we're going to be doing Otherworldly Pact matching. So Anka will be pulling spirits from the book and reading a bit about the spirits, and I'll be pulling a tarot card and giving an RWS sort of interpretation. So we just had our, what is it, April? So our full daffodil hair moon. Is that it? The April moon. So this reading is from the daffodil hair moon until the summer solstice. So the spirits that you get pacted with and the tarot card that you get drawn is from now until then. So, yeah, do you have anything that you want to like add in about like how we're doing the spirits and like the program and
Maybe
the
not
program?
Maybe not how we're doing it, but I do want to touch on and point out that this isn't the spirit packing of, a few months ago, which, still great. But we're using the updated graphics from the new book. Okay.
Oh, so yes. Please do touch on that. Please do touch on that.
And new spirits. It includes spirits that you may have not seen before. So, here's your first debut of the content from the lesser Liber Spiritus. So,
yeah, because we made like entirely new graphics for all of the spirits in this book right here, right? Ambrosia's Book of Witch Flight. Check out the links down below. So all of the spirits have new graphics that maybe will be oracle cards. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Hoping, working towards it.
So yeah. So if anyone would like a reading, just comment down below and comment Otherworld in the comment section, and we will get you guys in queue. And for those of you that tip, be it Cash App or PayPal or Super Chats or stars or whatever, just like let us know, like comment down below, and we'll get you in the VIP and you can skip the line.
The new book is going to be awesome. So.
Okay, let's do our first one.
Ready? Okay, Rowan. All right, so ignore this. This is what it was already on. But I give it a click, and it's going to give you something random. Okay.
Oh, Grenix. Interesting. Okay. So while Anka is getting you the information for Grenix, I'm going to pull you a tarot card, vibes. Now, Grenix is not particularly a spirit that like I'm in love with. I'll let you know that now. But you can absolutely choose to work with this spirit or not, or maybe protect yourself from this spirit. I'm sure, Anka will have their own things to add to this. Personally, leprechauns have always terrified me. But that's a personal thing. So tarot card wise, oh, I got the 5 of Wands.
Okay.
We are using the professional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I'm trying to like show you guys the card without it getting too much glare. So this card represents kind of a little bit of like a struggle and like dealing with obstacles.
I mean, that fits for Grenex.
Anka?
All right. So here is some information for you about Grenex. Again, he's a leprechaun. There are more leprechauns than just Grenex in the other world, but he's the one that kind of pops up more than others. So some of his attributes, he's a leprechaun, okay? His resourcefulness, bartering, material gain, okay? Eavesdropping, thievery, favors illicit deeds, okay? Here are the not so great sides of Grenex. He's a little predatory, cannibalism, eavesdropping, okay? So it's a leprechaun with an agenda, all right? And if that, I mean, some people are that vibe and that's okay. But my experiences with Grenex are usually left wanting, I guess. So if you want to work with Grenex, here are some offerings that you could set out and give. Blood, urine, saliva, antlers, bark, teeth, hair, coins, especially coins, okay? Or even just doing illicit deeds in his name. So this could very well be a spirit you should work with, or maybe embody his attributes. It also could just be warning you to watch out for his little trickery and thievery. So,
I mean, yeah, personally, like, I don't really like Grenex. I don't. So I would say that's a hard no for me. But like, I also don't want to tell other people who they can and can't talk to, you know? Would you work with Grenex?
Right time, right place. I could work with Grenex, but I would never seek him out. And if he sought me out to do work with him, I would be very leery and like double and triple check whether or not it's the right move. So, I mean, I'm not saying never, but very, very few situations would I work with him.
Well, and maybe also see it as like a time to like step up your wards and your protections as well. Like Rowan's like, I feel that. Probably a no from me too. Yeah. Yeah, babe. Like Grenex is a razor-toothed leprechaun. Like, so how those wards doing? Okay.
Get some protections up. Double check them, refresh them.
Okay, I think next is the Bone Whisperer.
Okay. All right, so previous one. Here is for Bone Whisperer. Andrix. Okay.
Okay, love Andrix. Absolutely love Andrix. So while you're pulling up Andrix in the Spirit Codex, let me get a tarot card vibe. Let me get a tarot card vibe. Okay, so the tarot card that I have, and this is the message from now until summer solstice, right? I have the High Priestess, which represents like going within to look for answers, trusting your intuition. Like this to me in the major arcana is very much a card of like trusting your own psychic abilities. serving as like your own high priestess, your own seer. It could also be like a time where you're being met at like a crossroads, and where you're being like initiated into something. Maybe Andrix is going to be initiating you into some mysteries.
All right. So some information for you about Andrix. Andrix is a infernal satyr. Okay. And I mean, just like Jasmine, I also love Andrix. So Andrix's attributes are first and foremost androgyny. Okay.
Hello.
Then they also provide things like protection, strength, ward, liberation. Okay. Attraction, drag, transformation. Reversal magic, unlocks doors, subversion. So Andrix is very much a warrior and will stand up and fight with people against, hot topic issues, basically. So some suggested offerings for Andrix for working with them is acts of subversion, social justice, blood, activism, garnet, naga champa, okay, tequila, tobacco, witch ladders, also things like LGBTQ charity, and dark moon rituals.
Okay, the Witch of the Bay.
Okay, we ready? Okay.
The Man in Black. Come on, the Man in Black. Okay, so per the tarot, I have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune represents like essentially luck and like quite literally fortune. The wheel is currently upright, so it represents that like the wheel is turning in your favor. If you're looking for a sign, or if you're looking for the right timing, this card would suggest that like now is your chance. The wheel of luck and fortune is in your favor.
All right, Man in Black. He is the veiled man at the crossroads. And so he is associated with things like initiation, witchcraft, sorcery, spirit communication, fate, witch flight, liberation, illusions, dreams, and then also things like alchemy and geomancy. So very much crossroad spirit. Suggested offerings for him to work with him. Any liquor, not specific, not picky, any liquor. Chalk signals, burnt offerings, blood rituals, petitions, pacts, stains, swords, opium, leather, tobacco, hourglasses, crossroad dirt, graveyard dirt, and then also just witch flight and conjurations.
And any liquor. I love that.
Any liquor.
Baby, he don't care. Also, the Man in Black is very much our devil in black in traditional witchcraft. Very much. Okay, conjure cutie.
All right, let's get a spirit pulled.
Of course.
Hey, Dre.
Come on, gold devil. We had the devil in black, and now we have the devil in gold. Okay. And while Chrissy is pulling that up, let me get your tarot, babe. Let me get you a tarot. Okay, I have the Two of Swords, friend. The Two of Swords. Two of Swords represents like being at a crossroads, right? Like very much kind of like that Man in Black energy that we just had. The Two of Swords is a point where we have to pick A or B. X or Y. We're kind of in between this big decision. And this card is from now until summer solstice. The Two of Swords is honestly probably like one of my favorites in the tarot, because I love the imagery, because like that blindfold on her represents seeing with your eye and not your eyes, right? So having to use your intuition and your psychic abilities to determine which way is right for you. Okay.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty about Phaedra. Okay, first, iconographic. Okay. Phaedra is a Mitney spirit, so east. Attributes for Mitney. I'm sorry, attributes for Phaedra is witchlight, harmony, beauty, charm, attraction, also a little war. Okay. Numerology, divination, dreams, prophecy, education, music, makes strong fortresses. He gives good familiars and favors witches. So suggested offerings, coins, obviously. Okay. Burnt offerings, citrus fruits, mirrors, cosmetics, a little sexual fluid, devotion, jewelry, blood, wine, music, and other performances.
I love how everyone in the chat is talking about Phaedra's rooster. Can you see that on your end?
No, I'm only getting YouTube and I'm not getting them. I'm only getting YouTube and Twitch comments. I'm not getting any Facebook comments.
Oh, those were YouTube comments.
Oh, okay. No, I just can't read them. Okay. It is. He has a magnificent rooster. He really does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, wow, thank you so much. I love working with Crossroads spirits. I have 7 placements in Capricorn, and I'm feeling that dark energy. Come on now. The Blade of Astaroth.
Okay.
Can we get a spirit for the Blade of Astaroth?
Absolutely. All right. One last look at Phaedra and his magnificent rooster.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You got a Zuckerot. I feel like we're doing like the Pokemon, like, oh, no. Okay. So I'll let Chrissy pull that information up for you. Zuggurat is not a spirit that I would personally recommend that you work with. But let's see the tarot for you, vibes. Okay. Okay. So in tarot, I have the Two of Cups. So we're talking about like making connections, possibly romantic or sexual, but not limited to. It could also just be like connecting with like other people, reaching out to people that maybe you normally wouldn't. The Two of Cups represents like 2 people coming together in its most simplest form. Maybe don't come together with Zugrat, in my opinion, but like your own mileage might vary, you know.
So Zuggurat, okay? Zuggurat is an eldritch cockroach horror, period. I mean, he's an eldritch cockroach horror. So some of his attributes as a cockroach horror, like infestation, disaster, agony, isolation, fear, devouring, obliteration, mold, pestilence, premature death, and then he's also a magic eater and does psychic attacks. So, and the offerings is none. Like, you don't want to leave offerings for this spirit. You want to ward against the spirit because he is here to cause strife, like a significant amount of strife in your life. And he's trying to wreck things and ruin things and attack you. So no offerings, protections, get those wards fixed, get them refreshed, set up. Okay.
Oh, what? I would say if you would like us to pull another spirit for you, we can. I was talking with Anka before we started, and I was like, in the past, when we've gotten void spirits, we've just like pulled another one. But Anka was like, well, maybe we talk about like protections to like ward against them, which is like very fair and valid. But I would not work with this spirit, Blade of Astaroth. Like, this is not a spirit that's like ooky spooky in a cool way. This is a spirit that like actually wants to eat you from the inside out.
Slowly, and he'll enjoy it. So this is definitely a warning versus a suggested working with them. Like if this came up out of 122 spirits, it's telling you use caution, get those protections up. Something or someone might be lurking. So
yeah. And also mind those 3 C's. Your keep it clean, keep it cleansed, keep it consecrated, honey. Okay. Okay, let's get one for David. Oh, Ellie. Hold, please. Hold, please. Can we get one for David? RAINN.
RAINN. Pretty much the exact opposite of a cockroach horror.
Okay. So, per tarot, I have the High Priestess again coming up. So this is about like trusting your own intuition, stepping into your own power, being your own oracle, standing at the threshold of liminality, possibly at the precipice of like initiation. Okay. Also, Pete the Horned Moon at the bottom of the High Priestess. Okay. Okay.
Okay. RAINN is as whimsical as he is adorable. And more than that, so RAINN knows all languages, gives good familiars, grants prestige, also associated with charm and charisma. He empowers witches, associated with witch flight, mercutial arts, little chaos magic, because it's a griffin, okay? And then transformation, astrology, and geomancy. Some suggested offerings for working with RAINN. Coins, again, it's a mini spirit. Coins, first pillar work, weaving, conjurations, wards, witch ladders, blessed water, little blood, and then grain and nuts, because it's a griffin.
Also, I love this graphic.
Mm-hmm.
So cute.
This is one of our, I think this is the first that's come up. This is one of the new spirits in the new book.
I think so too. So RAINN is the first new one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
RAINN's delightful.
Let's get one for Liz.
Okay. Red Goblin.
We love the Red Goblin. Okay, so while she's pulling up the information on your Red Goblin, who, by the way, is a very tradcraft sort of spirit, let me get your tarot. And I'm getting the Ace of Wands, babes. the Ace of Wands. So it's upright, right? Aces represent like omens. And when it's upright, it represents like a positive omen. Wands in RWS is the element of fire. So we're talking about spirit, maybe the Red Goblin spirit to be specific, handing you a positive omen in the suit of fire, in the suit of wands, your sensuality, your sexuality, your creativity, your spirituality, right? So this is a very positive sign, Liz. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the Red Goblin.
Okay. I mean, you can't tell me he's not a squishmallow, okay?
He's adorable.
He is. We love the Red Goblin. So Red Goblin protects witches, favors witches, okay? Knows all languages, knows all planetary arts, gives prestige and safe travel. But he also helps to collect debts and a little bit of manipulation. Okay, so it's more cunning versus like those being negative. Those are traits that work in your favor. The Red Goblin definitely works for you. So some suggested offerings for Mr. Red Goblin is blood, honey, milk, hagstones. Hagstones is a big one. Yew, rosemary, sulfur, crescent cakes. I mean, he's got that little tummy on him, okay?
Little tummy.
Vessels, burnt offerings, citrus fruits, and urine. I mean, he's a goblin, okay? Don't judge him.
Okay. Also, if you're not already familiar, I would look into the Vangelo of Radia, the Gospel of Witches, because there's a very specific folkloric sort of attribute with the Red Goblin that you should read that talks about conjuring and summoning your own Red Goblin to basically collect debts and protect you. You can also DM me too, Liz, but definitely check that out. I also did post a little bit about the Red Goblin on my Patreon. So, yeah. Yeah. I love the Red Goblin. I would love to make this into a squishmallow. Or something similar, at least. Okay, I think Abby the Witch is next. Abby, are you still here? Comment down below if you're still here. Oh, do I comment Otherworld for a reading? Oops. Otherworld. You're fine, babes. But do let us know if you're still here.
All right.
Gimme! Of course they would get gimme. And Abby says, yes, they're still here. Okay, cool. Let me put that back so I know where to go. Okay, let me get a tarot card. Now, again, this is from now until summer solstice. Interesting, babe. We got the Hierophant. Okay. Very not gimme. Very not gimme energy. The Hierophant in RWS Tarot represents tradition. Okay. And it's upright. So this sort of would suggest that we look at what traditions are we upholding? What traditions are we keeping? What traditions are we letting go of? The Hierophant in RWS could kind of be the masculine counterpart to the High Priestess. The Hierophant is kind of like the Pope. And so I think that this card is suggesting that you look at tradition and break it, but also keep traditions that serve you. What does tradition mean to you, Abby? Which is so not gimme energy, but yeah.
It is different for gimme energy, but there are some traditional aspects of gimme. I mean, Gimme is a rabbit spirit and very much associated with fertility. So,
and she is very much like against the grain, but I feel like having the Hierophant upright is different than what I would expect for Gimme, you know? Because I feel like she's so Hierophant reversed.
Ellie is currently doing flips in her chair. So here are some of the associations for Gimme. Horticulture. Okay. Horticulture. Witch flight. Baneful magic. Glamour. Secrecy. Hedonism. Party animal. Knowledge of the other world. And then childbirth and fertility. So
also love her sigil.
Yes. Her offerings, okay. There's a lot of ways you can make offerings to Gimme. Things such as masturbation, ecstatic dance, bonfires, blood, rose quartz, daffodils, vanilla, chocolate, chamomile, valerian, cedar, botanical gin, daisies, butterscotch, pussy willow. Very much a rabbit spirit, but very much not necessarily a cute fuzzy hair, but the fertility and glamour side of that.
Miriam says, how do we get a reading? Well, look at the ticker down below, babe. Makes a lot of sense. Ooh, Abby, can you share? Can you share with us? Can you answer that, Chrissy?
I did in the comments. So these are, some of them are from Jasmine's first book, which has the Spirit Codex in the back. Okay. But we're working on a new book right now, which is basically an expanded version of that. So all of these spirits are from Jasmine's book. They're otherworldly spirits that she has some information and gnosis on. So these are the updated graphics, and some of them are new spirits not in the first book.
Have we done Serena yet?
I don't believe so. All right, Serena.
Dokar. Serena, are you still here? Let us know, babe. Let me get your tarot card. Okay, interesting. Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups. So this is not, right, like a major arcana event or a minor arcana event. This is like a person or a spirit. Maybe this is you or someone else in your life. Serena. I don't know why I think of like Siren. The Queen of Cups is a positive, aquatic, feminine force.
Okay, we're still looking in the document for Dakar because Dakar is also a place named after Dakar. So just one moment. Okay.
Abby, you can totally claim fourth power, babe. I respect that. But also you can like DM me if you want.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Dakar. All right, we're good. We're ready to go. All right, so Dakar is, my screen moved. Dakar is not working well with us right now. Jasmine's not a fan of Dakar. I see the problematic things that Dakar represents and is, but I wouldn't put him on my do not call list personally. Use caution, but okay, so Dakar is the king, or was the king of his kingdom of Dakar. But now he is basically almost a void spirit. So he's associated with corruption and control, insanity, treachery, chaos magic, mutilation, blood magic, mental distress, paranoia, betrayer, lies, procrastination. And this one, again, doesn't have any suggested offerings because Dakar is not someone you want to necessarily call to you. So he got a little bit too, he dove way too deep into that chaos magic and it became void. And now he's, maybe once upon a time he was a mix of the two, but now he's pretty much just a void spirit. So you're muted, Jasmine.
Thank you. Dokar is not a spirit that I would recommend working with. Don't love him. And I think, if anything, this would be a time to like actually maybe ward against this sort of spirit. But you can make your own decisions, of course. If you want to work with Dokar, I've known people that have been favorable towards Dokar. But not me, you know? So, I don't know. Anka, do you have any advice for Dokar?
So,
because like Dokar to me is a hard no. Like,
and I would not put him on my do not call list. I would definitely recommend caution, because the thing is with Dokar, see, I personally, my personal belief, and based on interactions with him and other void spirits, is he's not as void spirits. There's a little bit left of the chaos Dakar. But it's almost like dementia or Alzheimer's, okay? When you meet him or approach him, you're not quite sure what combination of the two Dakars you're going to get. He may be long gone and be only void Dakar, which is toxic and not something you want to mess with. But depending on what day it is, like I've come across him where he's very much channeling the classic chaos Dakar. And he was a king for a reason. So he's not on my do not call, but like approach with caution, definitely. Absolutely.
Okay, I think Venus is next.
All right.
Asalia!
Hi.
Asalia! Venus, I hope that you're still here, babe. Okay, so Venus, if you're still here, I got the Knight of Pentacles. In RWS, this represents a person. It's a royal arcana, right? It's not major or minor. So this royal arcana of the Knight of Pentacles represents basically making money moves, like a person who's like making advancements in their health, so their mind, body, and spirit, but also their wealth. So I would say a very good omen. Maybe Asalia could serve as a Knight of Pentacles to help you achieve these goals. Okay.
All right. Asalia, similar to Dakar, is both a person and a place. The kingdom of Asalia is in the
I know,
west.
it's so funny that we got them back to back.
I know. And they're not friends. Okay. There's some bad.
No, they're actually mortal enemies.
So, but Asalia, the kingdom and Asalia is very much a like a spiritual and my brain. Okay, we're having a brain fart. Matriarchy. There we go. And it's a very religious kingdom. So Asalia, as the leader of Asalia, and also she's a deva for Asalia, the goddess. She represents things like spirit communication, goddess devotion. She's a spirit deva, mysticism, lunar arts, childbirth, time travel, nobility, luxury, weaver of webs, and justice as the leader that she is. So her suggested offerings are things like jewelry, okay, chalices, like the chalice of Asalia, wine, spider webs, witch ladders, ceremony, ritual regalia, devotion, and then things like sandalwood, jasmine, and botanical gin.
So, Anka, what are your personal thoughts about Asalia, if I can ask?
Sure. So I've not directly run into Asalia at all. I've come into contact with her Arachnian Covenant, which are some of her clergy, kind of, sort of. And I mean, I think she's, again, kind of like Dakar, I think it depends on the day. Because she is a ruler of a kingdom. Okay, so she's not all sunshine, rainbows, and daisies. There's like hardship that comes with that, significant hardship, and you have to be a pretty hard person to run a kingdom. So sometimes she's very benevolent, and sometimes she's a whole lot of not benevolent. So I wouldn't necessarily caution against working with her the same way I do Dakar, but know who you're getting in bed with before you dive in. I would suggest that.
And I would also say that, like, Asalia, I adore her. I really do. Okay? I do. But she is a spirit that oftentimes will draw in witches in a web and spit them out. Okay? Like, she is very dark mother sort of energy. She's very devouring mother sort of energy. Asalia, like, I think that Dokar gets a bad rap because of the void, but Asalia is really not much different. Right? Like,
I agree, yeah.
She's more like conventionally acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But she will chew you up and spit you out. And just know that. Okay?
Very judgmental, and if you're not worthy, you're not worthy. And you can't really prove.
And if you're not a devotee, like, you need to be a priest, a priestess, a priestess of the great spider for Asalia to really, I feel like, accept you. Mm-hmm. Right?
I would agree.
I think Jojo is next. Jojo.
All right.
Venus said, gasp. Cozy Cowboy, welcome. Okay, let's get a spirit for Jojo.
All right. Gnome
King.
This is another new spirit.
This is. Okay. So interesting. Interesting, babe. Ace of Pentacles. You're being given, like, money or prosperity or health. You're being given a gift of the earth. Mind, body, and spirit health. Yeah. This is a positive omen. Mm-hmm. Aces represent omens. Upright, it's positive. Reversed, it's like more of a negative. Pentacles is earth. So that's like mind, body, and spirit health. And also finances. So I would take this as a very positive sign of having your finances or your money coming up. And also maybe like having like a better season of mental health, having better physical health, and having better spiritual health. And I think this is so on brand for the Gnome King with the Atlas Forge. But let me turn it over to your Auntie Anka. Okay.
All right, Gnome King. Not only is he adorable, okay, I don't think there's any denying that. But so the Gnome King is a title, and he's obviously king of the gnomes. It is not a position that is born from relatives. Okay, so it is an appointed, like it is. The gnomes amongst themselves kind of choose who the king's going to be. It's usually pretty obvious because one's a very, very good leader, but it could pass to his nephew or, a completely different family when the time comes. But gnomes in general, okay, they have their own little world. They're up in the corner, the northeast corner, between Grydell and Mitney. And they're underground, and so sometimes they're a little in Mitney, but they're also in Grydell. They do have a lot of surface stuff, but they do a lot of digging. They do a lot of farming and agriculture. But they're one of those denizens of the other world that isn't necessarily associated with one of the kingdoms. They're just in the realm in Grydell, just living and existing. So Gnome King attributes are things like agriculture, wealth, finances, because that's the whole point of the gnome and the gnome king is they're small, so the things that other people make don't work for them, so they kind of have to manufacture everything they need, but they still trade with other people for small bits of things. So trading and bartering, also a harmony, okay, because there's harmony between the gnomes and other races of the other world, and there's harmony between them and the land. So some offerings, anything that you can grow in your area. So like a cucumber, a squash, a pumpkin, watermelon, corn. Okay, so any vegetable or fruit that has been grown, usually in your area. I would stick to something local. Coins, okay. Dirt, very much dirt, okay. Metals and precious metals, and just kind of like little trinkets. They're gnomes. They like knickknacks, okay. Like you don't really have a category that goes in, but it's cute, and your little crow brain told you to buy that and take it home. Okay, so they like cute, nice things.
Sorry. How about the Wicked Witch?
All right.
Golly molly. Not golly molly.
Can we talk about how iconic this graphic is real quick, though? Like,
I do love this graphic.
A look at the graphic, including the little chicken in her hand. Like,
okay, so the card that I have for Golly Molly. Now, this is from now until the summer solstice. I have the world reversed, which represents like regret or like not completing something or not finishing something that you set out to do. Golly Molly as a spirit, I think would definitely vibe with this card. I would not personally work with Golly Molly. I feel like there's some witches that would. Wicked Witch. Maybe you're one of those. Okay. And this is a judgment-free space. But Golly Molly is like the cryptid out in the woods that will mimic a woman crying, kind of like a mountain lion. Golly Molly is the spirit out in the woods that will mimic a child or a baby crying. Golly Molly is the spirit in the woods that will make you get lost. And I think the world reversed, being about regret and incompletion and remorse, is very much connected to Golly Molly. I don't know if you have things going on in your life at this time where you're like worried about completion or worried about regret. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself because like there's things in my life right now where I'm like, I feel very Two of Swords about, and I can go one way or the other. And like either way, it's very much like we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. Right? So, Anka, golly molly, take it
Okay.
away.
She may look like a void spirit, but she's not. She's actually just an otherworldly spirit, primarily hollowed woods, but because of that, she can kind of go anywhere she wants. But she's not a void spirit, okay?
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm dying. She'll beat you to death with a chicken. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. And then they say, and eat your face if she doesn't. Like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. So Golly Molly is okay. So here are some of the associations and attributes of Golly Molly.
She's a lot.
She is. So manipulation, illusions, haunting, misfortune, hysteria, transformation, mimicry, agony, devouring, animal communication, okay, predatory, wildcrafting, hunting, and disorientation. So I wouldn't call her by any means a good spirit, okay? But again, there's no shame and no judgment. I mean, I personally would work with Golly Molly before I'd work with a void spirit. So,
Hello.
yeah. Just you need to be careful. Kind of like Grinix, okay? Like, there's something that's not quite right there, but it's not a void spirit. So some of the offerings, if you do want to work with Golly Molly, here's some offerings that you can make to her, okay? Blood, tears, illicit deeds, flesh, besoms, music, drums, opium. All right. And then things like clary sage, peppermint, tea tree, candy, baked goods, bark, tree wands, animal sacrifice, and bonfires. We're not promoting animal sacrifice here. But Golly Molly is into that. So.
Well, but I'm also not promoting it at the same time. Like, if you cook your own hog or your own chicken and you pray over it and dedicate it to your gods, your ancestors, your spirits, and you kill it and you barbecue it, that's an animal sacrifice.
I don't feel like that's the kind of sacrifice that Golly Molly wants, though.
I think Golly Molly wants you to like a chicken's throat.
Right.
Collar. Like,
and, yeah, possibly cause some agony and pain. Like, yeah. So.
But I also just want to make it clear that, like, Jasmine is not anti-animal sacrifice, because in most cultural practices, animal sacrifice is really about feeding the community and, like, praying over it and consuming it in the name of a deity or a spirit. There's nothing wrong with animal sacrifice as far as I'm concerned. So, however, that being said, I would not work with Golly Molly myself. Okay. So let us know, by the way, how you feel about that. The next one in queue is Maple.
All right.
Maple, Birch, and Ivy.
Maple.
We'll get a spirit for them. Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy. Interesting. Okay, so for you, I have the Lovers. So this is a major arcana card, right? It very much could be about love. But I think that people put too much focus on that. The Lovers could be about like connections within the self as well, and like balancing our masculine and feminine energies inside of ourself and also outside of ourself. These are also the same twins of Gemini featured on the Devil as well. So this card brings about connections within and around us. Your relationships with other people and your relationships with yourself. Okay. Interesting that we have this coming up with Oopsie.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say the same thing because Oopsie Daisy is the counterpart to Whoopsie Daisy, and they are twin Harlequin clowns. And there's some differences between them, but there's also a lot that's very, very similar. Okay, very Gemini energy. So Oopsie Daisy. All right, we'll just get into the attributes. Okay, confusion, illusion, luck, persuasion, telepathy, time, travel, revelry, blackmail, and very much a trickster spirit. Suggested offerings if you want to work with Oopsie are things like playing cards, toys, candy, flower bouquets, lanterns, puzzles, tobacco, chalk signals, alleyway dirt, performance, poetry, and second pillar work. So Oopsie is definitely a trickster spirit. I think there's some fun in Oopsie, but like too much of something can turn into a bad thing very, very quickly. So Oopsie does very much play tricks on you and wants to make you laugh, but they don't want to make you laugh to make you happy. They kind of feed off of that energy that you give off when you find something humorous, but then they keep giving it to you and you can't stop laughing. And so I mean, Oopsie is a spirit that I think is just come as they are. And if you want to work with them, I don't think that's a terrible thing. But if you don't want to work with them, that's also not a terrible thing. Like, it's not for everyone. But so they're not, they're not just going to tickle you and then giggle about it. They're going to tickle you until, you soil your pants, and then keep going. So that's Oopsie.
I love how Hayden is like, Whoopsie is like extra evil. What do you think about that, Anka? Like, would you agree, disagree? I don't know. I think that Whoopsie, I don't think that either of the daisies are evil. I think that Whoopsie is more firm than Oopsie.
So I feel like so Whoopsie is definitely more of a mentally, I don't want to say attack you, but mentally interact with you. Okay, they like to get inside your head and just jumble things around. But they are definitely, I think that's a perfect word for it. They're more firm of a spirit. And I think they're still trickster. I mean, there's obviously still trickster quality there. But they're not going to make you laugh and giggle. So Oopsie, on the surface, Oopsie Daisy seems very live and let live and fun and humorous. Okay, like you want to spend time with Oopsie, but the longer you spend with Oopsie, it's just going to drain you. So.
Okay, let's get one for Audrey.
All right.
I hope that you're still here. Oh, the Void Dragon of Dokar, babe. Audrey. Okay, this is not a spirit that, like, I would recommend working with, but, like, you don't have to take my word for it. Okay. The RWS card that I have is the Seven of Pentacles. So we're talking about working on a goal. We're talking about like bringing the harvest to fruition. But we're not quite there yet. Like there's more work to be done. The Pentacles represent like health and wealth. The Seven of Pentacles specifically is like, we're working on bringing this into fruition. But again, it's not quite there. I don't think that the Void Dragon is going to help you harvest money or health. And so I would say maybe it's more a message to like ward against the Void Dragon. or just the void entirely. But also, I'm quite void phobic, and y'all know this. Okay. What do we got, Anka?
All right. So, Void Dragon. Again, they are a void spirit, so approach with caution. Some of their attributes and associations are hysteria, corruption, destruction, devouring, storms, nightmares, suffocation, infestation, and rot. None of those are good things. And we have no offerings for them because Jasmine very much suggests not purposely working with void spirits. Me personally, so the void dragons of Dakar are chaos dragons that have been corrupted by the void. So once upon a time, they were chaos dragons, and now they're void dragons. So they're kind of in the same boat as Dakar for me, as not every void dragon is the same. I think some are more void touch than others. Like maybe it's a little bit of a sliding scale. But like Zuggurat is a void spirit, period. There's no, like, he was born from the void. He wasn't something that then got corrupted by the void. So as far as the void spirits go, I feel like Dakar and the void dragon are like have a little bit of leeway, and like maybe they might be helpful or beneficial, maybe. But then the rest of the void spirits are like hard no. I would strongly suggest hard no for everyone. But again, just like with Dakar, really think about it, approach with caution, and depending on what day it is, like it could be better or worse, but definitely, like, as a void dragon could turn on you very quickly. And so I would work on those protections and wards.
Kendra's Journey says, why does the witch work with these? Seems like a bad idea. My life sucks enough already.
I mean, there are some void witches out there, and that's okay. Again, but the void, you have to remember, the void is very enticing and corruptive. Okay, so the void pulls you in with promises of power and other things, and it looks shiny, but then the deeper you get into it, the harder it is to climb back out. But there are very much witches that only work with the void. But again, too much of anything is a bad thing. So if somebody were to choose to work with the void, I would recommend balance and caution.
And I would say, don't. I would say don't work with the void, Kendra. There are like 122 spirits that we have cataloged, and there's a lot of other benevolent or even neutral spirits that you could work with. So even though in this stream, there's been several spirits that I've been like, ooh, I wouldn't work with Grinix, or ooh, I wouldn't work with Golly Molly, or ooh, I wouldn't work with the Void spirits, or the Void Dragon. There are other spirits that I would recommend working with. So I would love, Anka, before we sign off this live, if we could pull up that image of like the virtues and like the demi-virtues.
Sorry, we're having an Ellie moment. Okay, you said something about the virtues and demi-virtues?
Yeah, can we pull up the image of that wheel that we made?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, give me just 1 minute here. Nope. I have to go get it directly from Canva. So 1 second. Maybe. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and close that. All right, so there it is.
Okay. So, Kendra, this is our otherworldly wheel. And for anyone who's watching, okay, this is like a little peek into the greater manuscript. Anka, how do we like break this down for folks?
So I think the ones that people will recognize definitely are life, light, chaos, and death. So those are the 4 towers, the 4 realms that were mentioned in the first book. Life being Graydell, light being Mitney, chaos being Dakar, and then death being Asalia. Then in between both of those, so for example, if you take life and light together, that brings order. And chaos and light brings fell. Chaos and death is void. And then death and life is darkness. And then we break that down into even more. And like between life and order is ether. And then between order and light is time. Between light and fell is mesmer. Between fell, out of fell and chaos comes discord, very much so. And then over on the void, so you have to keep in mind that both chaos and death are very closely related to the void, even though they're not, but it's between them. So void and chaos is nether, just the opposite of ether. And then death and void is oblivion. So both of those are still void related, oblivion and nether. But they're not as, they have other attributes mixed with those as well. Then if we include death and darkness, you get abyss. And abyss is not, okay, it's not similar to the void as in there's no corrupting there, but it is like the deep, dark abyss of nothingness. And then darkness and life is undeath. And these are the virtues and demi-virtues that you can find in the other world that are associated with each spirit. You're muted again.
Oh no. Kendra says, new to this practice, very interesting. Yeah, this is like the otherworldly sorcery that we're working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like making this hopefully available by like the first harvest is like the goal. And if you're on my Patreon, you'll get like glimmers of this on Patreon. But oh my gosh, Anka, tell them about how we had one manuscript and it was split into 2.
Okay. So the second book is basically an expanded version of the Spirit Codex, which is this like the second half of our first book. Now, each spirit in this book is a smaller graphic, still beautiful, and then some details about them. Okay. And then there was 86 spirits in the original book. So the new book is an expanded codex. So we have a full page graphic, and then a full page of attributes, because we go rather than it's correspondences, but we give planetary correspondence, zodiac, location information. Wait, don't you dare. Sorry. And then things like their suggested offerings, what tarot cards are associated with them, what their moon phase is, enemies and allies that they have in the other world. Okay. And so that's a full page. And then we have several pages of their gnosis. Some are longer than others. Some are 2 or 3 pages, and some are just 1 page. Because there's, Jasmine obviously has more gnosis about some and less about others. So we're putting this book together for 100, because we kept adding spirits, but we're up to 122 spirits, and we stopped there. So if you take 122 times 4 minimum, okay, like the pages were adding up. And we also had the intro. Jasmine has a few pages where she like goes into detail about planetary correspondences, the moon phases, other things like that. And it was so big that we could not print it on Kindle. Okay. It was too many pages, and Kindle said no. So we've had to split it into 2 books. And so we have the greater and the lesser. And so they're going to come out at the same time. But basically the book was so big, it wouldn't fit into 1 book. It was impossible to print it as 1 book. And also it would have been very, very expensive. So it has now turned into 2 books.
And that's our wheel over there, okay, of our virtues and demi-virtues of the other world. And I think that we're going to wrap it up here, because we're at like the 1 hour and 14-minute mark. So Anka, do you have anything that you would like to promote, or any platforms, or where can people find you?
So right now I am really just a Twitch streamer. Like I said, I stream video games during the week, and I mean, all of my content is just a little witchy. Like, we'll talk about things. I will be running around in a video game, kind of come across an NPC, and we're like, oh my gosh, not this Libra energy. Okay, so when you're a witch, it is just part of your life. So there's definitely some witchy flair to my streams. Definitely some queer flair to the streams. But then on Fridays, I specifically do free readings on my channel, like Friday night at 9 p.m. Every Friday, I do tarot. And then during the week, it's just regular games. So if that's something you're into, I would love for you to watch me. I can be found on Twitch. It's Bianca TV. B is in like this kind of B right here, Bianca, and then TV. Because Bianca was taken. So, but yeah, if that's your thing and you're into that, I would love for you to join me and come hang out while I'm streaming someday.
All right, right on. And thank you all so much for joining and for participating in this live. We hope to do it again soon, I think. It might be like an otherworldly pact matching. It might be something different. But I would love, Anka, to have you back on soon. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up. Until next time, blessed be, and we will see you in hell.